All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the studio this evening. Let's get ready to do some watercolor painting. I'm ready. I got my drawing here. I got my mic. I got a camera. I got my paints. I think I'm ready to go. Let's do it. All right, so here we are. Whoop, you can see my mouse. Here we go. Here's my my drawing of my popsicles over there. I don't know. I like the picture, those popsicles, because they, I don't know, they're so well defined as a popsicle. They got that classic popsicle shape to them. I really like that. I don't know that I want to paint all of mine to be strawberry flavored popsicles. Maybe we'll do a couple of different colors on these, but I'm looking forward to getting into these. And with that, let's jump in. Oh, actually, I should say the paper that I'm using is Strathmore paper. The paints that I'm using over here are my M-gram watercolors, and the brushes that I'm going to be using are the ones that I've been using for a while. These are the KingArt brushes, 90-20 series. And let's just jump in. I'm going to mix up a little color here. I think I'm going to do this far one over here as a strawberry color. I'm going to use some of this. It's kind of a pinkish color. This is a quinacridone rose that's on here. And then if I want to make it a little bit more red, a little bit more fiery, then I'll just mix in a little bit of this pyrrole red. I'm going to just put some color on here. I just want to get some color down on here to start with. The quinacridone red is fairly staining, so you've got one shot to do this. If it doesn't go on quite right, then, well, we're a little out of luck, but that's okay. You know what? It's a popsicle. Popsicles come in all shapes and sizes, I think. If one's a little misshapen, well, then it either came out of the bag that way, or it came out of the freezer that way, something like that. Nothing would make me think twice about it at all. And by the time we're done with these, they're going to look so delicious that you're going to want to reach through the computer and grab one of these and eat it. Everybody, I don't know, we got a few people watching already. I hope everybody's having a great, or had a great day, having a great evening, a great end to their day. If you feel up to it, say hi. Let me know where you're from. It's always interesting to see where everybody's found their way to my painting from. I'm just going to put a few drops on here. No particular place or location or anything like that. I don't want them to quite bubble out quite like that, but I think most of these will be okay, just the way they are. Yeah, we'll let that water just take those out. We're going to put another layer on here, and that's just going to add some texture underneath. Let's make this next one over kind of an orangey one. I've got a nice bright orange color here that I'm going to start with. Whoop, here it is. This is Azo Orange. I promise you it's a nice bright orange. It's got a little bit of brown in it, hopefully, or actually. Shannon C., welcome from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Our neighbor to the north. I don't know. I'm going to ask. I am having a pretty good day. And today is going to start a really nice weekend for me. I'm taking a couple of days off from work. So this is actually the start to my very long weekend. Is it just as hot up in Canada as it is down here in the States? Oh, it's been steamy here. I imagine it is. Up in Ottawa, it's been pretty hot everywhere. I have never been to Ottawa. Would love to go. I actually worked with a professor who was from, well, he wasn't, I shouldn't say he's from Ottawa. He had worked in Ottawa for quite a while, so I always associate him with Ottawa. Feeling pretty hot here today, regardless of the northern location. Ooh, isn't that the truth? It's gotten hot everywhere. Ooh, I'm not making any political anything or whatnot, but it's warm. This summer has been steamy, I think, for everybody. Got a few more viewers coming on. Shannon, if you have any questions about what I'm painting, how I'm painting it, or, oh, Bicycle Repairman is here. Welcome, Bicycle Repairman. Or if you have any questions about my art, my style of art, anything like that, throw the question out there. I love talking about art, and I love talking about my art. I would love to pass along tips and tricks and techniques to help anybody else who's learning to paint watercolors along. That's part of what's fun about watercolors for me, or doing this with watercolors, is that I get to pass along a little bit of knowledge to everybody else who enjoys watercolors. Bicycle Repairman is always hot in Arizona. Ugh, so humid there too. Let's see, Shannon, you were at a high of 31, which feels like 40. I was going to say, if I go back to my school days and start thinking about this, you take the temperature in Celsius, you double it, and you add 32. So 31 doubled, if I can do that in my head, is 62, and add 32 to it, double it and add 32. That puts it at 90, I don't know, 96, is that right? Did I do that right? 94? I don't know. I've already lost track of everything. I don't know what flavor a green popsicle would be. Mint. You don't have mint popsicles, do we? Blue. I don't know. I mixed up all this green. Let's not do a green popsicle. That sounds, I mean, that's something I think you would only get at St. Patrick's Day or something, right? Let's do a blue popsicle, and I'm going to do a little mix of ultramarine and phthalo blue. Lime. Is lime a good popsicle flavor? Normally I've been known to eat a popsicle or two in my lifetime. I like bomb pops, or one manufacturer calls them I guess they call them firecrackers. The red, white, and blue pops, I think are really good. Those are my favorites of all time. So I have one yesterday or the day before. Callie is here. Climate crisis didn't used to be so humid where I am. Very hot. It's one of those. I grew up in plenty of humidity. I've let everybody know I grew up in Ohio. Rocket Pop, yes, that's them, right. I grew up in Ohio. It was quite humid all summer long where I grew up. And I don't remember. Now, we had some hot days and we had some not so hot days, of course, but I don't remember it being as hot as it is. And now I live in California. Everybody knows I live in California. And the heat is so different. And it's a weird heat. I go out into the heat or into the daytime, and if I'm in the sun, oh, the sun is just, it's so unbearable. It's like beating down on you. But if you're out in the same temperature, same day, everything, and you're in the shade, it's like, it feels 30 degrees cooler. I don't know. Oh, Callie used to love creamsicles. I don't know. Oh, it's on my website. Oh, I think I have actually a T-shirt. You can probably see Creamsicle on a. Well, where can I point? Where can I point? Down below in the write-up down there, I have a shop where I have a couple of T-shirts for sale. There's not many, and I think I have a Creamsicle that I painted on there. Creamsicles are really good. This nice ice cream in the center with that hard, it's not candy, but icy shell around there. Mmm. Shannon, you're from Windsor. Windsor, which is famous for being the only place in Canada that you have to drive north from to, no, south from, you have to drive south from Windsor to get to the United States. Is north from, you have to drive, I don't know. Oh, I've got that mixed up. Detroit is north of Windsor, right? I don't know how that is. I don't know how that goes. Let's see. I'm going to mix up a little bit of. I've got lots of relatives in and around Detroit. Well, I had a lot of relatives in and around Detroit. Oops, that's not the color I want. Most of them have moved away from Detroit for one reason or another. But I've always enjoyed Detroit. I thought Detroit was a nice place. Okay, so this is the little bit of color I've got going here. Can you guys see my colors here? Just a little bit of yellow ochre and a little bit of burnt umber. A wonderful popsicle sticky color. I'm just going to, before I move on to the second layer on these, I'm just going to drop in a little bit of this color and let these go onto here. And if it runs into that original color just a little bit, I'm not going to worry about it. Let's see. Creamsicles are the best, the best of both cold dessert worlds. They are pretty good. Vanilla ice cream inside there. Oh, that's so good. I might have to go and get a creamsicle now. I don't know, that sounds so good. I debated painting fudgesicles, but fudgesicles kind of aren't that fun. Let's see. True, our southernmost point is further south than the northernmost border of California. Oh, your southern Canada is further south than the northernmost California. Wow. Really, you guys really do come down. This is a fun subject. I will say, so I always try to pick what I'm going to paint by the amount of time I think it's going to take me to paint it. Sometimes I do a painting first and then what's right side up on this, and then come back to it to see if I can get it painted in an hour, or if I can't get it painted in an hour. And this one, I looked at the picture and I went, oh, I want to paint these. I love painting. I love painting food in general, but I love popsicles. They're so good. I bet you I can do this in an hour. And so I didn't even do a pre-painting. But when I picked the picture, I looked at the picture and I kind of cheated. Because if you look at the popsicles, the picture is taken like straight down, so there's not much three-dimensionality to these other than the ridges that are drawn in here. So it's a little bit of a cheat, not that much, but a little bit. Let's see, this isn't quite dry yet, but I love talking about I love talking about food and painting food and whatnot. Next week, I think I'm going to move on to another thing I love about summer, haven't done in quite a while, is fishing, and I'm going to be doing some old fishing lures. So I'm pretty certain I'm going to do that. I've painted them before, and they're a lot of fun to paint, and they have bright, vibrant colors too. While I'm waiting for this to dry a little bit more, I'm gonna pull this in and say, if you aren't a member of Discord and you want to get in on some painting challenges this month, the challenge was to paint a sunflower, and so here's my sunflower that I have painted. I'm still debating whether I want to put a bit of a background on here or not. I will probably do a bit of a background, and it's a little stark. I've come a long way. I used to never put backgrounds on anything, but I think it looks a little stark, and it would do with a light wash behind it, maybe. But there's my entry into a painting challenge. You don't really win anything other than maybe the admiration of everybody else who's in the group. And I got this in the mail, and I'm going to be doing a review of these. I'm hoping to start shooting these later this week. This is from a company called Supervision, and they sent me these paints, and they're filled with mica and have 2 colors in each tube, 2 or 3 colors. It looks like in some of these in each tube. So that's going to be coming up, and if these turn out to be really cool, and they might, I've seen a couple of reviews of them, and some of them look really cool, the reviews, and some of them, it looks like maybe the quality control wasn't what was expected. But if they're really cool, then we might do a stream and just play with those colors and, maybe some other stuff. But that's coming up. How are we doing here? Okay, that seems like it's dried a little bit. I'm going to drop down just one brush size here. This is an 8. Even though brush sizes in watercolors don't always have the most benefit to thinking about them. One person's size 8 brushes, a different person's size 12 or something like that. The colors are fun too. I'm looking forward to seeing you add the shadows. Oh, shadows to this, or to Shannon, the shadows to this? The shadows on here, or shadows on my sunflower? I don't know. Let's see. I'm just going to jump in here. So what I want to do, I'm going to start working on this guy here. And I just want to add just the almost like I'm outlining a little bit on the outside here of this guy. This is really going to sharpen this edge up, and then I'm going to come inside here and add a bit of color, and I'm going to blend this bit out this way. And I'm hoping, and we're going to need some additional color on here too. So to the Popsicles. Okay. You want to see me add some shadow to my Popsicles? I'm actually planning on adding it's not much of a shadow on, there's a little bit of a shadow on that reference photo. But I'm actually planning on adding a hard shadow onto these guys. And if I can just clip over here to my reference photo, I have it blown up a bit larger. Let's see. Now I'm all backwards. I've got a really dark line here. I'm going to add a little bit more paint. A little bit, I think this little bit of just testing, because I have a bad habit of putting my hand in wet paint and dragging it everywhere on my painting. And I'd really rather not do that. Now, I will say one thing. I am using Strathmore paper, and there is a drawback with using Strathmore paper. It's the same drawback that many all wood pulp papers have, and that is that the colors continue to run even after you have blended them out. Right, so these colors will run anywhere there is some dampness. So I've just got to be very careful about that. While this is still a little bit damp, and I don't want to say that for people to think I don't like Strathmore paper or I don't like wood pulp paper. To me, it doesn't make that big of a difference what you paint on. It's how you utilize it. And for me, I recognize that, excuse me, for me, I recognize that that's kind of a limitation of this paper. And just recognizing that's there helps you utilize it a little bit better, right? And so, ooh, look at that. And now it looks like there's kind of a deep groove right there, right? Now we can see that this is up on top. We're still going with it, but those micropaint colors remind me of eyeshadow palette. You hope it lives up to its packaging. I'll tell you one thing it didn't live up to, those Supervision paints, is that the naming of them. They don't have any names on any of them. I opened the package just to take a look to see, you know, I like to open it in a video because you get, you know, you get to see the whole thing, but I kind of don't like to open it in the video because sometimes there's stuff in there that you don't expect, and you might want to read it, or you might want to know what it says before you read it. I've done that, and so I now pre-open things that I'm going to open in a video just to check on it, make sure there's nothing weird in there or anything like that. And there was nothing in the box other than the paints, and nothing explaining about the paints. I guess it's kind of on the box a little bit. So I pulled one tube out to look at it, and some of them have a bit of pigment information on them. Most of them don't. Some of them have, it just says mica and other stuff, basically. Some of them don't say anything. It's really kind of a mixed set with those. But it would be nice, even, you know, they all do have a number, so I will say that, but it would be nice if there was a name associated with them too. And if you're wondering, I just caught myself going, uh-oh, what am I doing here? It is sometimes difficult. When I think about it, it gets more difficult. It's sometimes hard to look up here to see that somebody has said something. I want to respond to it, but I don't want to neglect my painting. and I feel like I have to talk the whole time too. I know somebody said something about 90-pound Strathmore paint. I'm going to get to it. I promise you I'll get to it, and just give me a second. Go. I think I got rid of a little too much here. I want a white line. Here. We can always come back and put this in with some white gouache, or with some, oh, that looks so much better to me. If that doesn't run back in, that's going to be, that looks so much better. Now we have, there we go. Oh, if I turn it the right way around, oh, look, it's really is starting to come to life there, right? I just bought Strathmore 90 and some 140. Okay, no, that's fine. Liza is here. Hello in chat. I'm going to get hungry again. I use Strathmore for sketches, for urban sketching with watercolors. Good. I think it's 400 series, which is actually pretty decent for pulp. It is pretty decent. This is 400 series. I really don't have a problem with it. I use it for lots of things. I have a notebook of it that I take when I go out on location to do some sketching. Also, I kind of don't use the 90-pound anymore. I feel as though in my painting I get it too wet, and it really starts to buckle. I might be able to do this with 90-pound because I'm painting some pretty small areas and pretty much one at a time. So this would probably work for me with 90-pound, but I don't think I have any more 90 anymore. But the 140-pound is actually for pulp paper. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not honestly, it's not as nice as painting on cotton or bamboo, which is a whole nother conversation. But it's pretty nice. It's pretty good. I've used this for a long time. I kind of started with this 400 series paper. Look at that. Does that look like a popsicle? It looks like a popsicle, right? I feel that way about my Canson XL, Michael. It buckles so easily. Yeah, the XL stuff does. The XL stuff is... the XL stuff is a bit tough. It's a bit tough to use. That might be... And the Canson is listed as 140 pound too, or at least the stuff I have. And I have a hard time believing that it actually is 140 pound paper. It buckles pretty easily. It's a tough paper to use. I've used plenty of that too, and I'm not saying that you can't make some nice pictures with it, but you can. But again, you're dealing with the limitations of the paper, and it just seems to me that the Canson stuff has a bit more limitations than the Strathmore paper. Now, if you want a cheaper watercolor paper that is... Actually, before I say that, I will say I haven't looked at the price in a while. A cheaper cotton paper, I would say take a look at B paper, right? B paper is cotton, all cotton paper. It seems a bit thin, but it holds up pretty well. Why is 90 pound harder to layer? Just the buckling, because I'm trying to stretch it. It's going to stretch for a long way. Yeah, the water soaks into it. So what happens is that the sizing that's on it keeps the water out of the pigment, or out of the strands of wood pulp. But eventually it gets in there and they swell. And when they swell, they get longer and they get bigger. And so that's why you get all that buckling. And then supposedly when it dries, it starts to lay back down. But because it's come up and it may have moved relative to the pieces of wood pulp next to it, the strands next to it, it just can't quite lay down straight anymore. And that's why you start to stretch it out. I would think you would have quite a bit of stretching on the Canson paper to make it stand up quite right. I've never tried to stretch the Canson paper, and I've never tried to stretch 90 pound paper. I have a feeling though it would the 90 pound paper would stretch quite a ways. It starts to pill. You're getting some pilling on there. That's interesting. That is, you shouldn't get pilling from layering, but you will get pilling from rubbing. If you've put something on and you try to scrub it out a little bit, if you have, I have a couple of brushes that are little stiffer brushes, and you want to just rub some paint off, and you just scrub it a little bit, and you're hoping that it's going to pull that little edge right out. Lots of papers don't like it, and it will pill in a hurry. So the way around that is that you use non-staining paints. I mean, there's no the way to get around it is you don't go back and rub on it. You allow the watercolors to be watercolors and let them do whatever they do, but in reality, that's not always practical. So you're going to want to go back and rub sometimes. It's only natural that you'll want to do that. But as you do it, you're gonna get some of that, and if you have a paint that doesn't stain, it's a granulating paint, or it just sits on the top, it's much easier to get it off of there. Oh, swell, Callie, oh, swell, that's going to be fun. Uh, okay, let's see. So even with just a little bit on these two, look, these kind of look like you can see the swell on the swell. What am I going to say? You can see these indentations in here. I'm going to continue with this blue one here. Actually, you know what? One thing about this palette is that it allows the colors to bleed from one well. That's not going to help. From one well to the next, and it seemingly does it without much of any paint in there. I don't want green in my blue, so I'm just going to get it out of there. Shannon says you learn to use the paper you have. Yeah, that's true. Get used to what it does and then use it some, or avoid the quirks that it has. Absolutely, absolutely. So if what you can afford to buy is, or that's what you were given, or you found, or you came to it by hook or crook, however, what you have is Strathmore paper. Use the heck out of that Strathmore paper. Absolutely, don't shun it by any stretch. Just accept that it's going to be Strathmore. Same thing with the Canson paper. Accept that it's going to be a bit iffy in some situations. Like I said, there are limitations to it. All you have to do is recognize those limitations and prepare for them. It's not a big deal. I think if I had to use Canson paper right now, I think I just wouldn't do any layering on it. Bee cotton is nice. It's hard to come by here, but it's good. The bee cotton paper, the bee paper, it's cotton. They sell. It's pre-cut into the stuff you can get on Amazon readily. Is pre-cut into, I don't know, they're 6x9 sheets. They're not very big. They're pretty cheap. I actually bought a roll of that paper at one point in time. 3 foot by 30 feet. Like something like that. And I thought, wow, this will be good. I'll just cut it myself and it'll be fine. And after I found a paper cutter large enough to do that, I ended up with a lot of paper that had a lot of roll to it. I couldn't use it like this. I couldn't set it on my table and do anything with it because I had to have it taped down to something, or it would just go everywhere. I just roll up. I still have a whole bunch of it that I haven't used because it rolls so much. I found 5x7. Yeah, it could be 5x7 too. It's something like that. It's something like that. I bought a whole bunch of those, not a whole bunch of those packs, a whole bunch of sheets. It comes like 50 to a sheet, or 50 to a pack or something like that. I bought a couple of packs and I thought, well, this would be perfect for, this is a YouTube size thing. And then I ended up, I think, never actually using it for YouTube. I suppose that's okay. I did use it for other things. That's the great advice. I think I'll definitely keep practicing a lot with the 90, including your sunflower. Okay. Yeah, don't not use that 90. I mean, certainly don't get rid of it. And you might find, um, Callie, you might find that for your style of painting, right? If you paint it a little drier, you might find it works fine. You know, let's Shannon laughing at my rolling paper. Oh, that was something. That was really something. I was like, this will be great. It was $50 for that roll or something, and I'm like, well, I'm justifying it to myself. I'm glad I did it once, right? It's one of those kind of things. Um, oh, well, this will be good. It's $50 for the roll, and I get this much more out of it, and I'll use it this much, and oh, for the hassle that came with it, I kind of wish I hadn't ever used it. Live and learn. Live and learn. That's okay. All right, all right, all right. Let's see. I think our blue. Let's see. I need to have a little extra color here. Something to set this off on the top. I think our blue popsicle is starting to look pretty good here. Oh, look at that. Ooh, that is starting to look, that looks like it's a popsicle. There's a light right up here shining down on it that way. Ooh. How do I paint food? I don't know. It's going to make me hungry. Let's see. I think the 90 pound will be great for doing fast, loose work, learning to loosen up. Yeah, nothing meticulous though. But that's me. I couldn't use it for that. I probably, when I started watercoloring, I probably would have tried to do that, but I don't know that I could do it right now. See, this is where I'm loving my brushes here. Right? These nice pointed brushes. Oh, so nice to have a nice sharp point on here. I can get in and do that little line. Look at that. You practice on something cheaper as a warm up. You like, Shannon, you like your, wait, you find your, oh, I can't even read. Where are my glasses? I can't. Oh, that's why I don't have them on. They're dirty. Um, Shannon, I find at times, Liza says, the faster I go, the better I do. That's true. If you go faster, you don't have time to overthink things, right? You're forced to just limit yourself to the basic of strokes and simplify whatever it is you're looking at. And oftentimes, it turns out into a wonderful painting. In fact, maybe I'm going to do that for one of my challenges. I did this before, way back. If anybody remembers G plus, did anybody remember G plus? When Google was trying to uh, put out a rival to Facebook, and I think it was before Instagram or TikTok or any of those were around. It must have just been Facebook. But I had a watercolor group on G plus, and one of the things I tried to do on there was a 5 brush stroke challenge. How about that? Talk about having to be quick. A 5 brush stroke challenge. You can paint a picture, whatever picture you want, but you're limited to using only 5 brush strokes. So you have to kind of make a plan on what you're going to do and try to execute it pretty quickly, because 5 really isn't very many. Uh-oh. Oh, your expensive paper sits in a drawer. Doesn't get used. Oh, that poor paper. It doesn't get to fulfill its watercolor destiny. And I'm laughing with you, not at you, because I go back and forth. I'm like, I'm gonna paint all my stuff on my good Arches paper, and then I start to paint, and I go, oh my God, I screwed up this first painting. I'm not gonna use my Arches paper anymore. 5 brush strokes. Honest to God, these look icy cold. They're starting to look good, right? They're starting to look good. So the 5 brushstroke challenge is interesting. I don't enforce that you're only allowed to use 5 brushstrokes. What I normally say is, if you can put your brush on the paper, you can use it on that paper as long as you want. When you pick it up, that's 1 brushstroke. So it's not like 1 line. So you've got a little bit of leeway in there. Yeah, these are starting to look pretty good, right? You're loving the indents. That's why I love that. That's why I love the reference photo over there. They make it look like such a cool thing. I'm like, oh man, it looks so good like that. I wanna reach out and grab one and eat it. Let's see. I've got some darkening to do down here. I think my shadows are not going to be consistent. My darks and my lights aren't necessarily going to be consistent here, and I think that's okay. I'm not going to worry too much about that. Right? I used to worry about only getting right shadows at the right places. Only the light is only coming from over here, so I can only have, a shadow going that way. And now I have a slightly different stance. I want to get the shadows on there to make my image look best, not necessarily be super true to form. I think on this one, if I put just a little extra dark along this side, I can make this stand out just a little bit more. Doesn't need much. There we go. Yeah. Now this looks like it's up a lot higher, right? Callie loving the indents. Shannon, you've seen 5 stroke challenges, and they're really interesting, right? You will be amazed what you can do with those 5 little strokes. It doesn't take much, and you can't do any detail. You don't have time in 5 strokes to do any details. You're limited to, this is what I really like, because this is how I try to paint. You're limited to trying to get an idea or a feeling or something like that across to the viewer, rather than reinterpreting or showing exactly what the image is that you're painting, right? And that's what I like so much about it. You have to understand what you're painting and then give it to the viewer in a way that is not always exactly the way he or she is used to seeing it. Really makes it a fun challenge. All right, so now we should really be able to see these indents a little bit without adding too much to it. Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. Let's see. I'm going to put a little dark up here. This corner. I can go and touch over there. Same scene. Oh, Lab Accident is here. Lab Accident is here. Oh, hello. Glad to see you. What are we talking? I saw something, same scene, 3 ways. Shannon, what are we talking about? These 3 are kind of the same scene, 3 different ways? Kind of. Kind of. Let's see, our light is more here, so I'm going to put just a touch of this red in here to darken this down a little bit, and I'm going to maybe make a little bit of a line back here. I don't know if that's going to ruin that or not. I don't know. For me, orange is a weird color because it's a weird, because I want to, orange more than anything else, I just want to paint orange. I haven't figured out why that is. What's wet here? Orange, I just want to paint orange. Blue, I'm okay if blue is not blue. Sometimes I'm okay if blue has a little bit of green or maybe a little bit of purple or something like that in it. This one doesn't necessarily. But when I see orange, I just want to paint orange. I don't, I don't know. Oh, Stroke Challenge, same scene with, oh. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you could totally do the same scene with different numbers of strokes. I think, if it were me, it might break my brain to do that. I'd probably start to think about what I'm doing too much and maybe forget just a bit about getting in and having fun and painting that little bit. Oh, this one looks... I'm going to try something here. See, this is pretty dry. I don't know if I can do it with this brush. I'm terrible at this. Oh no, Lab Accident, you've had a long day. Well, you know what? I hope that you can relax with us a little bit and have a good rest of your day. I'm just going to try to put a little bit of dry brush technique on here. Like I said, I'm terrible at this. I don't do it a lot. Yep, see? That's how good I am at it. I can't even do it. I don't want to touch it enough that I get too much on here. I just want to get a little bit, like there's some texture to that wood. Might be a little better. I'm glad you guys are seeing me not do this well. People go, oh, you should try this and you should try that. And some people pick it up and it's super simple for them. And this technique for me, and it's always a bit frustrating. There we go, we're back in. I never seem to be able to pick it up really well. And quite honestly, I'm always glad when people see me struggle, because then I think it allows people to go, okay, if he's struggling with it and his painting's going to end up nice, and I'm not saying mine are like super great or anything like that, but then it gives people maybe a little extra confidence to go ahead and try stuff like that on their own. So I'm actually fine with with doing stuff and not always having it turn out right. So I'm just going to continue to darken here. If you've been with me for a while, I do like to say that you need darks in your painting. We need darks. We need some we need some darkness to bring out the light. If we don't have dark, we don't have light. All we have then are middle colors. So I'm going to try to take my own advice, and I'm going to try to put on this side, on the far side of this, I'm going to try to put in a little extra dark on all of these, right? So give me something over here for the blue. Let's make sure we get something on here that's nice and dark. I guess I'm going to turn this all the way around. I apologize. I turn my page a lot. I always encourage people to turn the page as they're painting a lot. Move that page. This is one big advantage you have over the water. Move that page as much as you have to till you'll feel comfortable with it before you put your brush on the paper, because you know that water does want to move paint around all the time and make things look a little different than you intended. So set yourself up for as much success as you can when you do that. There we go. Look at that. So that's dark. It's not super dark, but it's darker. That's a really good dry brush technique. It's horrible. Let's see. My dry brush technique is terrible. Looks like real life. I think the problem is that we look at things and take out the imperfections and try to make the painting more perfect than life. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Natalie's here. Hello. You're a little late. That's okay. Welcome. Welcome. We're just having a little fun and painting for me what reminds me of summertime. These nice things. No lab accident. No, you're not coming down with anything lab accident. Look at the screen. You're not. Don't get sick. You can beat it. I hope you don't get sick. I don't like being sick. I don't like when people that I know are sick. I always try to tell myself I'm not going to get sick. I'm just not going to do it. I don't care what anybody says. It's not going to happen. And then I don't have to deal with any of the consequences of being sick. So I'm going to send you some good vibes right now. You're not getting, it's just one of those days, but you're not getting sick. There you go. Oh, by the way, I should put a disclaimer down here at the bottom. I'm not a mentalist, nor am I good at ESP or any of that kind of stuff. You don't know live action. You know if it works that way. Of course it doesn't. I saw a good technique. When you turn the page, it's easy to lose perspective of where your light source is. Yes. If you tape the paper to a board, draw a little sun on the side of the light source. Yeah. So when let's see, these go this way. So when I started, my light source was over here, and it's super easy to lose track of it. For a while, yeah, I just put a little, I think lots of people do it. Just put a little mark in here, like a little flashlight or something, in one of the corners or wherever your light source is, just to remind you. Yeah, that's a great technique. And yeah, you're right. It's easy to get lost in the painting as soon as you start turning it around. There we go. Oh, they're looking good. They're looking good. Okay, I'm gonna put on some. I'm gonna stop with these right now. I'm gonna mix up some color for a shadow, and I'm gonna do an actual hard shadow. So give me some of this blue. Give me some of this red. Let's make a nice purpley shadow color. Yeah, it's got a little green in there. That's okay. We can get all of that out of there. And shadows, for me, I don't know what color shadows are. I never know what color shadows are. I don't know. I always thought shadows were a darker version of whatever color the shadow is on. But if it's on white, what color is it? I don't know. I have no idea. Is everything dry? Whoop, there we go. First time I just put my finger right in there. That's dry, that's dry. I'm going to start over here with my shadow and I'm just going to be brave and put it on like this. So let's see, my light source is now coming this way a little bit. That's okay. Like I said, I'm not really worried about getting it exactly right. This has to have a kind of a square-ish corner. There we go. I know it's not a shadow yet until you fill it in. And I think I got plenty of paint here. I'm just going to use a little water to thin this down a little bit. I've got to be a little quick or I get that outside line is going to stay there for me. And if I move that over that much, I don't know, that stick is going to be about like that. I don't know, something like that. That look about right? Hey, that does. I'm looking up there on the screen. That one doesn't look too bad. Let's see. Lab action. You taking vitamins and meds and drinking plenty of fluids. Oh no, you got the sore throat phase. Ugh. Well, I don't like anybody to get sick. Lab accident. Honestly, I joke around a lot, but I hope you do feel better. Oh my God, Natalie, you just said Tang. Wait, you haven't seen Tang since winter? I normally have Tang out here with me. I don't have any today. Tang is a staple here in the studio. I love Tang. Tang is great stuff. It went to the moon. And vitamin C. Take some zinc. I take, let's see. How do I take my vitamins? I take a multivitamin plus D plus C plus zinc. I'm all vitamined up every day. It's funny with vitamins. I'm like, what's a lifetime supply? I do. No, actually I don't because I drink it all the time. I drink my Tang all the time. Now I was gonna say something else. I was gonna say something about vitamins now. I don't remember what it was. Oh, I know. This is gonna be straight here. I can always tell if I forget to take my vitamins for a day or two. I know it's weird. I don't feel the same. Take my vitamins all the time, and I have all these people at work that go, "Oh, vitamins, they don't do anything, and they don't, this and that." And I'm like, "Oh man, I'm telling you what, they do something because if I don't take them, I can tell that I don't take them. I feel run down. I just don't feel myself if I don't do it. So I'm on the vitamin train with you. Well, how about if I paint? I'll leave a little gap here. So this one's got to go up longer. This one's got to go up here. A little bit more. All right. Oh, look at that. Whoop, I'm off the screen. I can see it. You have to make sure your vitamins have iron too. Okay. All right. Um, we we humans are a bit solar powered. We're a bit solar powered, but the thing is, we're all vitamin D deficient because we all work indoors now. We don't. We never go outside. It's funny how that kind of happens. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna go here. Let's see. This is gonna be out this way a little bit and down. And I agree with you, Michael. I rarely ever get sick as long as I take my vitamin. Yeah, yeah, that's the same with me. I mean, it hasn't happened the last couple of years, but everybody's like, "Do you take a flu shot? Do you do this?" And I'm like, "No, I don't feel like I need one. I haven't had the flu in 15 years." Now, I did get. I'm going to say this, and they're going to demonetize me now. I did take my COVID shot. My COVID vaccine, but typically I don't go in for any of those shots or anything, and I never have felt like I really needed them. Rarely ever get sick, but I do over vitamin maybe. I don't know. What I do honestly. I feel different when I don't do it. My your job turns you into a bat, right? Oh God, you're an ultrasound technologist. Yeah, so you're in the dark a lot. Yeah, I'm a computer tech in my day job, and I sit in front of a screen. I sit in front of a screen most of the day, and there's not a lot of coming out of it some days. Let's see, and I'm gonna put this extra here. There we go. Look at that. The shadows are in roughly the right spot. It actually gives quite a bit of dimension to this. Um, I think it's great. I think these are looking good. So the only thing I'm going to do now, and I'm going to cheat. I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I'm going to put in some extra highlights, and I'm either going to put them on with with Magel pen, of which I have two different ones, or what is this? This is a Scribe All pencil. I think I'm going to use a gel pen for this. And I don't want to put on a gazillion highlights because I think that too many just they take away from the actual painting itself. Doesn't seem like it's going to be working here. But I want a few on here. This is why I have a couple of pens out here, because they don't always seem to work for me. Let's see if this one will. Maybe that's a little better. Or not. I got a little color on there and it's just kind of pushing it around. Let's go back to the original one. Oh, lab accident. Asthma, asthma's tough, and lung problems. I can't imagine not being able to get a big breath when you want. Okay, so here's the deal. Let's scrap the pen. The pen isn't working. Let's do this. I've got some gouache here. Savoir Faire gouache. Let's put a little bit somewhere. I don't know where we're going to put a little bit here, and we're going to use this almost straight out of here. Eliza, you need a gel pen. The gel pens are really cool, but for whatever reason, they don't always work all that well, at least for me. Luckily, our friend White Gouache here, you know, it's a little thick. It works pretty well. That's really thick. I don't know how oil paints work or anything. I don't know acrylics because I don't paint with acrylics, but I imagine it was something like this. Just want to highlight a few of these edges in here. This will really set this off. You got born at 30 weeks. This is 3 months. What is RSV? What is RSV? I don't know that. But it sounds to me like you're super resilient. Don't say you hope she's gonna. Who said that? Natalie. Don't say you hope she can nip it in the bud. She's gonna nip it in the bud. Like no problem. Got it whipped. Lab accent will be sick for a couple of days and then right back at it. I have faith. It's just a respiratory infection. Okay. I have kids, but my kids, I didn't even know what thrush was when my kids got thrush. I was like, holy cow, what is that? So everything that they got was new to me. But I grew up in a family where we didn't, if you got sick, my mother said, you are not allowed to get sick. I mean, almost, you're not allowed to get sick. You've got chores to do. You've got stuff to do. And thankfully, I think I grew up pretty healthy and didn't just never learned what all kinds of stuff that people got. These highlights are making it pop. They're kind of doing it. See, I'm gonna put a little bit. Sometimes if you put little highlights here and there, little bits in some other places, it makes it look kind of like it's just like there's maybe a little high spot here or a high spot there. I wish this was a little higher quality gouache. Had a little bit more pigment in it, but we'll make it work with what we got. Put a couple of spots here and there. Whoops, I'm off the page. A couple here, a couple there. Can't put one in my dark areas over there, but I can put some in some other areas. So I'm going to put one right down here. Maybe it's All right, I don't know. Yeah, I do know. I do know. I'm not quite happy with this yet. Not quite. This didn't come out. This is where it's nice to have the pen, or the pen working anyways, is that when you put this on in one roll, it goes on in one roll, and it's usually just about how you want it. Sometimes for me, the gouache I have, actually I have some other gouache in there too I should pull out. Okay, there we go. Oh, that makes it look, it does make it look better. You can totally see it. I'm gonna have to clean that later. Yeah, let me pick this up. You see those highlights on there. And I've got some other marks in here just at random, right? Because if you pick it up, maybe that surface isn't quite perfect. It's got some fluctuation to it. Right, there's some spots here and some spots there. I can just put them on in a number of places, and the only thing we can't do is put them on inside our really dark areas, because then it kind of nullifies that. Okay. I am going to sign this one. I think this turned out quite nice. I'm going to sign it over here. There we go. I like this one. It's turned out pretty nice. I'm glad that I put the drop shadow on here. To me, that really kind of makes it lifts them. It does lift them off the page a little bit, even though we don't have that true 3D look, right? The camera is going straight down on top of these. There's really not much of a side view on these. They could be totally flat. That little bit of shadow there really helps to bring these up off the page a little bit. So I'm glad I put that on there. I really wasn't going to. I wanted to, and I was like, no, I'm not going to. But I think it was a good idea to put those on there. You want this on your wall? I'll mail this out to you. Shoop. Let's see. That's all I've got. That's all I've got for you guys this morning. I've been up since 4:30 this morning, so I'm getting tired. Again, I'm just going to remind everybody over in Discord, if you want, I've got the challenge for this month. We're a little over halfway through, I guess. It's sunflowers this time. This is mine coming up so far. I've got the other paints over there that I'm going to do a video on. I am hoping I'm going to get those out, or get that shot, or mostly shot this weekend. Fingers crossed. Weekends are tough for me because I'm running my kids around and doing yard work and housework and whatnot. So I'm going to try to get those done this weekend. I've got a whole host of other paintings that I need to do. But next week, I think I'm going to try to do the fishing lures next week. And then I think we'll play with some, maybe these paints from Supervision, or we'll do some, I have them right down here, some watercolor pencils and watercolor crayons. That might be fun to just test those out and do a simple drawing with those. Everybody say thank you, everybody. We're saying they're so nice and everything. Thank you all for stopping in and spending an hour with me this evening. A little over an hour. I always appreciate it. I'm very appreciative that you're willing to come onto my channel and talk, and sometimes carry on talking when I'm chatting so that everybody else can see something, even when I'm looking down and not able to look up to read what you guys are saying. I very much do appreciate that you guys come in and not only watch, I love that people come in and watch, but that you're willing to say something, speak up, and make this a more enjoyable stream for myself and for, I think, everybody who watches. So thank you for that. Down below, links to everything. You guys all know that. My website, social media, what else is down there? Discord link is down there. Donation link is down there, whatever. That's all I have for you guys this evening. Seems like a lot to me. Everybody, thanks for coming. Everybody, lab accident, get better. I'm sending you some good thoughts. Whether that's how it works or not, I'm sending them anyways. Everybody else, have a great rest of your night tonight. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you back here next Wednesday night. Thanks so much.